Headline number 4, DoorDash is planning to bump up the fees it's charging to McDonald's if McDonald's keeps its drivers waiting too long. According to the Wall Street Journal this week, DoorDash agreed to lower its base commission rates for McDonald's U.S. restaurants in exchange for the ability to charge higher commissions to McDonald's restaurants for orders that keep delivery drivers waiting, and for each McDonald's store to cover the cost of refunds caused by a restaurant's mistakes, like, say, putting a Big Mac in a bag when it should have been a quarter pounder, which coincidentally is a mistake that should never be made because the Big Mac is a far superior sandwich to the quarter pounder every day of the week and twice on Sundays, except during Lent. And then the award goes to the fillet of fish. But Chad, I digress.
Was that a quote from, I just want to clarify here, was that a quote from the Wall Street Journal, or is that a Chris Walton special that you threw in there?
No, that's actually a Walton family axiom.
Oh,
and
it's on the crest.
Those are words to live by. Yes, fillet of fish during Lent, Big Macs over quarter pounders every day. All right, but Chad, seriously now, what do you make of this announcement? It appears DoorDash, at least the way the Wall Street Journal was positioning this piece, DoorDash was appearing to flex some of its muscle here in these negotiations with what is quite honestly one of the bigger retailers around.
Yeah, and I love that you phrase it that way, because if Wetzel's Pretzels got some debate, like I want some good one here. Like, this is such a good headline, guys. Like, this is a
sweet.
Feels like a great example of why you do what you do, the decisions we help clients make. Like, it's great to talk about this one. So I agree. Like, when I first read this in terms of how it's positioning, I wanted to criticize DoorDash out of the gates, right? Instituting service delay penalties on its partners at a time of intense labor shortages just seemed punitive, petty, and too opportunistic, right?
Okay.
But as I read it, I saw a couple things. So first, base commission rates. So what McDonald's is paying to DoorDash on orders comes down in the base case as much as like 390 basis points based on the article. And I said come down, but I think the article actually uses past tense. So I don't know if that's been implemented already that they've lowered them. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but it's important because the other point is that this wait time commission penalty doesn't start until 2023. So there's a pretty decent lead time for labor shortages to settle in a lot of cases, in which many of our clients who are dealing with are confident in predicting to us that they'll have more stability by then. So with that in mind, I say go for it, DoorDash. I mean, what you're fundamentally doing here is saying it's a kind of pay for performance model. Like, right. I don't know who wins and loses economically in the short term based on service levels today, but longer term, like, I like this because incentives become very much aligned between McDonald's and DoorDash, where poor service equals higher costs, better service equals lower cost, better satisfaction, and repeat use. So when you put all that together, I'm on board, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think my take is the same. I mean, I think when you look at, when you just look at basically the levers that these companies have to pull in order to make this delivery service profitable, right? You've got the margins on the products, which in this case is, a proxy for the commission rates. You've got the advertising revenue that they're collecting, which is happening exogenous or outside of this story. And then you've got the cost of actually doing the deliveries, servicing the customer, which is a function of the charges that they're asking McDonald's to pay. And I think so like at the end of the day, those are the levers we're talking about for these things to work. And this shows you that, DoorDash is saying, you know what, we've got to get some help on this side of things to continue to make this work. And they're pushing McDonald's to make that happen. Granted, with probably some big concessions too. That's why for me, I was like, who's really got the leverage here or not, because it's hard to know that without getting into the deep details of the contracts. But, it's showing you that the conversations are happening. And I like how you frame that too, Chad. Like, it seems aligned from an incentive perspective. You operate well, you're going to get the benefits. You don't, the benefits go, more so to DoorDash in that situation. But I don't know, Ann, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what Chad's saying, but there's also a labor shortage issue on the side of DoorDash too. I mean, it's not just McDonald's who's facing these, and time is money. So there's got to be some way to compensate the DoorDash drivers as well for inefficiencies. And McDonald's, I think, is certainly much better positioned to look into things like automation and things, especially with what you're saying, Chad, if they have a year runway to kind of get that in place to ensure more consistency and accuracy, because this delivery option is not going away. They are going to have to invest there. So I think it makes sense. I actually would love to see the McDonald's brothers come back. Remember in the movie that they were like role playing how to automate the fast food stores in general, where they're like, just this is how you automate exactly how much ketchup you put on, exactly
the Ray Kroc with Michael Keaton.
Yes.
That's a great movie. By the way.
It is.
What the hell's that movie called? I can't remember.
Founder.
Yeah, right.
But just seeing them be like, all right, we're back from the dead. We're going to figure out how to do automation here.
Yeah.
How are we going to make these orders?
Well, just today, White Castle announced they're using Flippy the robot in Chad's neck of the woods, Chicago. So yeah, it could be coming. All right, David, what do you think? Final word on this one.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you talked about leverage. I think what's clear is that the customer has the leverage, right? When you end up waiting 15, 20 extra minutes for, a cold hamburger or cold French fries. So it's like, you're not going to eat them. Like, who cares? Like, at that point in time. So ultimately then, it's a refund. It's a pain in the neck for DoorDash. It's, pain in the neck for McDonald's. So this was DoorDash's lever to, keep the customer profits up. So.
And you're right. They're probably blaming DoorDash in that situation too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Tips are impacted.
Right? Nobody thinks that like, okay, it was late, that I'll tie it back to, the person making the burger. Right.
Yes. A giant QSR chain. Yeah.
Exactly.